Thought I was going to say what it was there, didn't you? Thinking about turning this into a series where I get my hands on some old out-of-production pedal, do a video on it, and try and get a whole bunch of people to demand that the builder bring it back, probably much to their chagrin, because in all reality, many of these pedals were probably discontinued for a reason. Nothing to do with the quality of the pedal, but maybe there were parts that they couldn't get anymore, maybe it evolved into another pedal, and I think it's a great idea to put needless pressure on small pedal builders to have to revisit old designs when probably what they want to be doing is just designing new things and coming out with new models. I suspect it's kind of like ignoring the Rolling Stones' new songs and just asking for them to play Satisfaction. This is the Keely Fuzz Head. An old gem from Rob Keely, the Fuzz Head. This is a magnificent classic fuzz that I'm absolutely in love with, and I could not believe how great it sounded when I plugged it in. Now this is an old Keely pedal. You can tell from the styling. I started doing reviews with the Keely group right when they were on the verge of kind of a pedal building renaissance almost, when I don't know the ins and outs of it, but came up with some kind of formula where they were just pumping out new awesome pedals constantly. This would have been around starting in 2014 and then onward, and really hitting its stride, particularly in 2015, 2016. And they were just coming out with pedals like you wouldn't believe, many of which have been left behind, including another one very similar to this, which was the Blacktop Fuzz, which is also a great pedal. But this one preceded that. This one preceded that Keely Electronics boom when they really grew into the innovative company that they're seen as now, as opposed to early on. You know, when I first became aware of them, early on, the thing everyone talked about was the Keely compressor, which is still true. It's still a great pedal. Mr. Keely himself was saying that, like other fuzzes of its type, it might be finicky in some ways, which I actually haven't found. I found this is just great. It's quiet. It sings. It's really an awesome, awesome pedal. And it's got this nifty little switch for silicon or germanium, and what it is over here on silicon, it's just silicon transistors and no diodes, and then when you flip it over to GE, it adds in diodes, one of which is germanium. You get the best of all of the fuzz face tones just from that little switch. Now, in this video, you're hearing it with the fuzz turned all the way up, because that's how you play a fuzz face, with the fuzz turned all the way up. And at that beginning clip, I was playing into my amplifier overdriven. Now I'm playing into the Laney VC30 today. That's one of the ways, one of the classic ways to get the classic fuzz face tone, is to go into an amp that's already overdriven. Now, I didn't have it crazy overdriven, but a good strong overdriven tone going that this was going into. What really told me that this is a great pedal was how good it sounds going into the clean channel. Now we're going to try this a couple different more ways in this video, always with the fuzz all the way up. That's just how you do it. So we're going to try it with the Gibson SG going into the overdrive channel, and then both with the Stratocaster and the SG going into the clean channel. And what I absolutely loved about it then was you got more of the vintage warmth, that really rich sustain that you get from a fuzz face style pedal. I almost want to say it has hints of that Eric Johnson style fuzz face when you're going just into it clean. It has that really, really cello-like kind of sustain and warmth to it. But some fuzz faces, if you don't really use them right, or if you don't use them into an overdriven channel, they just sound kind of bland and kind of farty, and they really need something more to make them special. This one I actually liked as much going into the clean channel as I did going into the overdriven channel, because it just had such a rich tone. So that was one of the things that told me that this was such a great pedal. Now, you're also hearing it today with the Keely Caverns, using it for a light reverb and a light delay, because again, also, if you don't use delay with a fuzz face, are you even a guitar player? what Mr. Keeley said was that the design of this pedal, kind of going back to it, as he said, it's essentially like a treble booster going into an amplifier of his own design, and then of course with the transistors and the diodes as mentioned, evolved into others. He did a Son of Fuzz Head for a while. I would love to see this pedal make a comeback. I don't know if it needs little updates, if he needs someone to have their name on it, you know, like a selling feature, you know, like a popular guitar player who's kind of debonair and handsome and has just the right sense of humor with that sort of twinkle in his eye. And I'm just saying, I think this is going to be a mainstay on my board. Many of you won't see this from me as much because I don't tend to do a lot of the reviews of them as much, but kind of the hunt for the perfect fuzz face has always been something that I've been enamored with, and the fuzz face style is definitely my favorite of the fuzzes. I do like big muffs and things, but when push comes to shove, if it's one that I actually want to use, it's going to be a fuzz face style pedal, and one of the ones that I've been using a lot on my board is the fuzz face side of the Monterey, which I also love. This one, just on its own, has its own kind of mojo that I really like, and I also feel like I've reached that point in my guitar playing career where I need to play a rare out of production pedal, not something that's regularly manufactured. It has to be like, you know, and it has to be a specific era one, and I have to know what year it was from because that was the good year. I've reached that point in my guitar playing career. Let's get back to some tones. We're going to hear this with the Gibson SG into the overdriven channel, and then we're going to hear it from both guitars into the clean channel so you can hear how just warm and powerful it sounds on its own. Let us know in the comments, do you have one of these great old Rob Keeley fuzz heads, or do you have one of his other fuzzes? Do you have one of the Blacktop fuzzes? They're not around as much anymore because they were made in pretty limited quantities. There were a whole slew of Keely limited edition fuzzes using various components that were in short order. Let us know if you have any of those, if you use any of them. What do you think of this pedal? Do you have this one? Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Stick around for some more tones, and support me on Patreon if you'd like personal gear tips.